Good day, everyone. I'd like to talk about the importance of relationship synastry charts. And that's when you compare your natal chart to the natal chart of the person you're in a relationship with, the person you're in love with, the person you're married to, the person you desire. Whoever that person is, synastry is when you compare your chart energies to their energies. And what synastry teaches you and what synastry encourages you to do is to hone in on your own self-awareness journey and hone in on your partners. Because when you're aware of the energy you carry, and then you look at the synastry and look at what the energy is between you and your partner, then you are really aware of what you're dealing with. And is what you're dealing with something you want to continue dealing with? Is the energy between you and your partner workable? The synastry might be fabulous, but it doesn't mean that your relationship will last forever and ever, because you have free will and so does your partner. And if one of you make a misstep or one of you go down a rabbit hole, then so goes the relationship. And so really the best relationships are when both people are self-aware. And what I see going on in the world and when I deal with clients and people and friends and family is one person is more self-aware than the other. For example, one person's into astrology, they know their chart. The other person isn't, they're not so sure. And it just goes a lot easier. It goes a lot better when you know what you're dealing with, when you know who you are, when your partner knows who they are, and you come together at one. Where it gets challenging is when people don't know who they are and they come together in a relationship. And now you don't know who anybody is because nobody knows anybody. Nobody knows themselves. It's true. Take a look around you. You want good relationships, it starts with you and your self-awareness journey, and then you look at what your partner brings to the table. And again, there's no guarantee in astrology. Just because you have good synastry doesn't mean your relationship's going to last forever and ever. You got to be self-aware. You got to work it. You got to work it. Right? You got to work it. Both people need to work it. And, in the news right now, it's May 2nd, 2022. And all over the news, social media, we got the big trial going on between who? Johnny Depp and Ms. Heard. And like any good astrologer would do, I was like, what is going on here astrologically between these people? And sure enough, I saw it all in the chart. Oh, let's just say I saw a lot in the chart. And how do I look at synastry? How do I look at a chart? So I'm going to share with you a few things that are important to look at in a synastry chart. I'm not covering every detail and every square and every opposition and every conjunction and every this and that. No. I want to make it simple. And I'm going to look at Johnny Depp's chart and Amber Heard's chart and what her energy brought to his chart. Okay? Because we don't have her time of birth. We have his, but not hers. Okay? So I can look at what she brought to him, but I can't look at it in regards to what he brought to her, because I don't have her time of birth. When I say this, I'm talking about house placements. House placements. House placements are what you need when you are looking at synastry. You want to look at where does your partner's energy land in your houses. And in romantic relationships and intimate relationships, you want to look at what's going on with that first house. What's going on with the fourth house, the fifth house. The fourth house is the house of home. The fifth house is the house of love affairs. The seventh house is about committed relationships. So I like to look at, okay, what is the partner, in this case, Miss Heard, what is she bringing to him? You can call it baggage. You can call it energy. You can call it whatever you want. Let's take a look at the dynamic between these two. And again, I'm not covering it all, folks. I'm just covering a few things. This will be helpful for you. So, when we look at Johnny Depp's chart, first of all, I think he's so hot, okay? You didn't ask my opinion, but I think he's hot. He's got gorgeous Leo hair. Of course he does. He's a Leo rising. He's always messing with his hair. He's always doing something with his hair. And yet I want to hone in on his childhood, because he's talked about his childhood, painful childhood, in court, and how his mother was very abusive, and she threatened to commit suicide, I guess. I don't know how many times. And it was not an easy childhood for him, basically. Not easy. Now, what he would do is, when his mother would have her ranting, he would go into his room with his guitar and play his music until he went to sleep at night, every night, because he couldn't be out there with her. He'd have to hide in his room. And there's a lot of pain there in his childhood, a lot of pain. But thank God his music pretty much helped him on some level, right? There were drugs and alcohol there in the family unit, right? Somewhere in the family unit. And Mr. Depp has admitted to doing drinking and drugs in his family unit, family of origin, right? So when we look at his natal chart, what's in his house of home, his home life? Neptune is there, right? Neptune is there. Neptune says to me, his childhood would have been very painful and depressing. And yet, with Neptune there, it would have been an escapism, wanting to escape from the family energy, wanting to escape from the family dynamic, wanting to just run away. And yes, he has Neptune in his fourth house. Okay? What does he have in the relationship, the seventh house, the house of commitments, the house of marriage? He's got Saturn there. So that tells me he likes committed relationships. He likes to make his commitments in his relationships. But it also tells me relationships are a lot of work. A lot of work for him. In his first house, he's got Uranus and Mars. That tells me he probably gets bored easily. He likes to do unusual things. And Mars tells me that he, of course, is a sexy guy, sex symbol type. And Mars on the first can say that you can be fiery, you can get argumentative, you can like to fight. You can like to fight with Mars in the first. So what I'm trying to say here, the key strong houses he's got planets in. First house, house of self. Look at that, Uranus and Mars. Fourth house, I see house of home. He's got Neptune there in Scorpio. Seventh house, house of relationships, close to the descendant. He's got Saturn there. When you have planets in the first, the fourth, the seventh, or the 10th, or on the angles, and especially in relationship synastry, okay, you bring that to your relationships. You've already got that blueprint. Wherever he goes, he brings those planetary energies with him. It doesn't matter what relationship he has, he's bringing that all with him. You want to call it baggage, you want to call it energy, he brings that to every relationship. Period. Okay? Has he had his chart done? I don't know. Okay? I have no clue. I don't even know if he believes in astrology. But if I had this energy, I'd want to know about it for sure. Because it is strong energy. Period. Okay? So we already know a little bit about him. He's been in the public eye forever. I think he's hot. He's a good-looking guy. I love the way he talks. I love his music. He's all about being a musician and an artist. That's all he's ever wanted to be. Look at that Neptune right there in the fourth. Tells you a lot. And what? Who gave him his guitar? His mother. Okay? So anyway, you kind of get an idea of his energy. Okay. So here he goes along in life, and he meets this lady named Miss Heard. Now, we don't have her time of birth, okay? But we can see what she brings to him, okay? Do you see what she brings to him in this chart that I'm showing you? Look at what she brings to him in his home life. She brings to him Pluto. Oh, how nice. What else does she bring? She brings to him Saturn in the home life. Oh, he's kind of cuspy, right? How nice of her. What else does she bring over there in the fifth house? Hang on just a second, guys. Hang on. Okay, so what else does she bring to the relationship? To him. When she's hanging with him, what else does she bring him? She brings him more fifth house energy, right? So she already brought Pluto and Saturn to his fourth house. And in the fifth house, you've got Uranus and you've got Neptune there, and you've got Mars that she's bringing, right? Look at the chart for yourself. Now, there is some cuspiness to some of it, but it doesn't really matter to me because the fourth house is the house of home. Whatever you bring to your partner that lands in his fourth house, you want to pay attention to. Whatever she's bringing to him in the fifth house of love affairs, you want to pay attention to. Especially in this context. And she brings a lot, and they're not necessarily enjoyable energies. Can you imagine? So let's say she shows up at his house and's unloading the groceries. Oh, here's Pluto. Yeah, I like to get intense. I'm jealous. I'm obsessive. I like to transform things. I like triangles. I like to, blow things up. I like to, stir the pot in the family unit. And then she's got Saturn there, and it's not going to be fun. You bring me into the home, this isn't going to be fun. It's going to be work, work, work. She brings that to his energy field, and he already has had stuff in the fourth house that was painful, okay? So that all gets ignited just in the home life itself. Now you get into the fifth house of love, affairs, and romance, and you got these other planetary influences. Uranus is in the fifth. Unexpected things happened. unexpected things in the relationship. The relationship was, when you have Uranus there, you can't predict it. That says there was roller coaster energies going on between the romantic energies between them, correct? Okay. And then, hang on. So then you've got her, she's bringing Uranus and Neptune and Mars to that romance house. So Uranus is unexpected energies. Neptune is what? Drinking, drugs, seduction. She brought that to that part of the relationship. And then she's got Mars there, fighting, sex, so come on. Look at that. She brought that to the relationship. That's explosive, okay? That's a lot to bring to a relationship. When you're activating someone's fourth house, when you're activating someone's fifth house with those types of planetary energies that are not necessarily that positive, good luck, okay? That's a shit show. I mean, seriously, an explosive, dangerous, not fun home life nor romantic life, period. Period. Okay? Now, could this relationship have worked? Yes. How? By both people being aware of the energies they bring. That's how it works. Good, bad, and ugly energies on both sides. Okay? Clearly, there was a lot of drinking and drug activity going on in that home, according to the testimony that is out on the internet. Clearly, there was a lot of drug and drinking activity in the home. And with drug and drinking activity often comes what? Violence. They were throwing bottles. He lost part of his finger. It was dangerous. Dangerous. And thank God he was like, God, I got to get away from this. And he would try to escape her, and she wouldn't let him. And so, thank God that he was aware enough and could tune in enough to the dangers that she brought. Pretty but dangerous situation there. God. But my point in all this is that if you are in a relationship and they are activating you or bringing a lot of planetary energies to your fourth and fifth house, you need to look at that and ask yourself, are you willing to work with that energy? And is your partner willing to work with it? Is your partner willing to say, hey, it's going to be kind of, intense. It's going to be kind of, this love kind of, love-hate or make-up sex kind of relationship stuff where you get into fighting and, there's drugs and drinking and fighting and sex and making up and more fighting and and the police are called and the neighbors hear you and na. Okay? I really just wanted to talk about this in context of synastry, to know where the planets fall of who you're with in a relationship. What planets do they bring to you? What planets do you bring to them? Are you able to handle those planetary influences? Are you willing to work with the relationship? Are you willing to make the relationship a success no matter what planetary energies you bring or your partner brings? And that's the key. Had these two been aware, especially her, had she been aware of her own blueprint that she brought, maybe things would have been differently. But it seems to me, based on what is being published, she's very lacking a lot of self-awareness. And it sounds to me like there's some addiction issues on her end as well. So they both have a lot of stuff going on between them. And when you already have stuff going on in your own chart, and then you engage with someone who's bringing more stuff to you, it's heavy, okay? It's heavy baggage, folks. Again, I believe any chart energies can get along and work together. And it starts with self-awareness, and it starts looking at what are you working with? Are you aware enough to work with the energy? Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox. Please look at the synastry with anybody you are serious about, especially if you're planning to get married, especially if you're planning to move in with them. Look at it and talk about it and be aware. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.